This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Climate change is no longer a remote theory. We are already feeling its effects. Storms, heavy rains, rising sea levels, floods, heat waves, droughts, and people fleeing from them. It has now been 25 years since representatives from 178 countries met during the Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit and developed sustainable solutions for economic development. Their objective? To prevent the dangerous man-made disturbance of the climate system. As a result, they launched the Convention on Climate Change, which came into effect 2 years later and has since been signed by almost the entire world. An additional milestone was the 1997 Kyoto Protocol, in which industrialized countries made a commitment to reduce their joint greenhouse gas emissions. Then history was written. In 2015, the world community gathered in Paris to decide on the first agreement, in which all member states committed themselves to reduce their climate-damaging emissions, with the common goal of limiting global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius. 160 countries have already ratified the Paris Agreement, and their numbers are steadily growing. This year, the World Climate Conference under the presidency of the Republic of Fiji is visiting Bonn. The member states are now working on concrete steps to implement the Paris Agreement. Support is provided by science, civil society, and the economy. We must act now, fast, sustainably, and above all, together. Because our climate can only be protected if we all pull together.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Global Village. I'm Buddy Cunanan. Now, folks, on this show, we talk about everything under the sun. We talk about topics and issues that impact the global community. And one of our focus tonight is really climate change. And this is one of our core advocacies on Global Village, as we feel that it is of paramount importance to humanity and poses the most important and most serious threat to our planet and life as we know it. Tonight's show is quite special because this week is Global Climate Change Consciousness Week, and it's also Climate Change Consciousness Month. And in a few weeks, we'll be having the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Katowice, Poland. And this is the 24th installment of the Conference of Parties, so it's called COP24. And tonight, we have a very special guest on our show. He's been here many times in support of our climate change advocacy. He is a stalwart in the climate change awareness movement in the Philippines. He's one of the men who started it all here in the Philippines. He's a delegate to COP24 in Katowice in a few weeks. It's my pleasure and honor to welcome once again to Global Village a special guest of GNN, Senator Harrison Alvarez. He's the chairman of the Climate Institute Advisory Board in Washington, D.C. Senator Alvarez, yes. Welcome again to Global Village.
Well, thank you for bringing out this issue, which is really a globe-threatening issue.
Yes, that's why we mentioned that it really poses the most serious threat to our lives, to the world. The nuclear weapons, even. I think so.
The Second World War and the Cold War.
Yes.
We used to look at disaster and say this was an act of God. Only God could have done the flood at the time of.
Yes. Yeah. Senator Alvarez, let's talk about your background. We all know that really you started it all in the Philippines, this whole climate change awareness thing, as a senator in the upper house. When no one was talking about climate change and the environment, you were there batting for the earth, batting for the environment and the world. And from there, you were also Cabinet Secretary of the Environment and Natural Resources. And then today, you are the chairman of the advisory board of a very prestigious
Climate
foundation
Institute,
called the Climate Institute, based in Washington, D.C. What is the Climate Institute, sir?
Well, I'm very happy that almost through a lifetime, siguro mga 26 years na ito, mga 30 taon na.
Yes.
Buhat nung pag-usapan na seryoso ito sa Pilipinas, itanggap na natin na meron yung ganitong diluvyo na gawa ng tao. Is a man-made disaster. We don't attribute it to the power of the
Yes.
Almighty anymore.
Yes. But
Kaya tayo, na siyang gumawa nito, yung mahanap ngayon ng paraan kung paano natin riremedyohan yung disaster. Oh.
But Senator, the Climate Institute, what kind of work does it do in support of these advocacies?
It's a global institution actually. I was in exile and I was a human rights activist. I was an opponent to the dictatorship. And there was this huge building where all organizations fighting for causes are gathered. They pay minimal rental. It was a foundation also. And the members of the Climate Institute helped me deliver a speech on human rights. And they've been wanting to bring me over. I said, what, you need a token member? Because I was a colored man, I'm a brown man, and they're all whites. No, said, we need somebody who will articulate so that we can have somebody in Asia talk about it.
Yes.
So I came in, I joined them, until when I came here, I had stock knowledge already of climate change. I had my certain biases for climate change. Kinuha ko kagad yung leadership ng Committee on Environment.
Yes.
And thus, I made all the legislation. Ang una kong ginawa yung Healthy Air Pact. Tinanggal ko yung tingga at saka sulfur sapagkat nakapagpapabobo sa mga bata. I negotiated that. And the 3 oil companies yielded to the negotiation. It was not by law, but by persuasion.
Yes.
And natanggal yung tingga. And then I made this series of legislation. Clean Air Act, Healthy Air Pact, at saka
Yes,
sunod-sunod
landmark legislation in environment. And then, as a presidential advisor on climate change during the term of President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, I understand that you were responsible for setting up the Climate Change Consciousness Week and
tama.
then month.
Right, yeah.
Opo.
Our lady president then was amenable to it. She listened. And then finally, I crafted this program. And she herself would go to the countryside and articulate the dangers of climate change. She also began introducing concepts to the barangay level of Clean Air Act
Yes.
and the other concepts, including getting rid of dam sites. So we had we began with sanitary landfills, a legislation in which we have also participated.
Yes. And then, just to mention your other engagements, you're also the founding chairman of the Earth Savers Movement. What is this for the people who are just tuning in to us now? What is the Earth Savers Movement for?
Well, it was initially an association of young people in order to be able to understand this awesome, this man-made danger. Dahil sanay tayo sa hirap, sanay tayo sa bagyo. Nung malalakas na mga bagyo, hindi nila nalalaman na itong bagyong ito iba na. This is because of the carbon that is accumulated for the last 200 years. Kasi mga scientists, may mga 40 scientists
Yes.
sa iba't ibang universidad, sa iba't ibang dako ng mundo.
Opo.
Nagkakaisa na sila na yung carbon na binibitiwan ng ating mga planta ng kuryente ay nandoon sa impapawid, tumatagal ng daan-daan taon, at dahil doon umiinit ang panahon, pinanggagalingan ng bagyo, tagtuyot, ayaw paniwalaan ng iba. Yung iba'y tumututol dahil hanap buhay, nagbebenta ng langis, nagbebenta ng carbon.
Opo.
So, I organized the Earth Savers decades ago para yung mga kabataan maintindihan ito. And then, we started to discuss this.
Yes.
Well, I also organized a religious organization so that the heads of the different religion, Muslim, Protestant,
Interfaith
and
dialogue for
dialogue,
climate
oh,
change.
that-
Yes.
The pulpit could be one of the most effective way of talking to the people
Yes.
of the disasters that they have caused. It's no longer like the flood of Noah.
Yes,
They-
and Senator, the thing I admire about Earth Savers is that they're employing a novel approach to raising consciousness of climate change. They're using arts and culture.
art and culture,
Diba?
yes,
Music,
and
theater,
music,
dance,
yeah.
and I think it's a wonderful thing. And in fact, you are a delegate to the COP24, the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Katowice, which is happening first week of December. And understand po that you are going to have, along with your wife, Cecil Giroto Alvarez, are going to be holding an exhibit.
An exhibit,
in
a cultural
Katowice.
exhibit
Yes.
that links up to a deeper and a more sensitive understanding of this man-made disaster.
Yes.
Sapagkat the solution to this problem of climate change is not just scientific. It has to be widely human and individualized.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
it comes
Lifestyle and
from
our
consumption,
practices.
etc.
Yes. In fact, Senator Alvarez, we have a poster here. We're flashing the poster now, and this is the event. This is the exhibit that's going to be at Katowice to highlight really through the arts the effect, the tremendously tragic effects of climate change on humanity. And I understand that one of the paintings that will be featured as part of the exhibit is the painting of Nemi Miranda. We see it here, very beautiful painting, and you can see really the images of not just climate change, but even conflict, and how conflict can contribute to the destruction of the environment, and ergo also affecting environment and contributing to climate change.
Intensity of conflict, it is as if you're at the womb of climate destruction. Kaya yung gira at saka yung climate change, hindi nagkakalayo yan eh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yung mga gira nangyari sa daigdig eh, maiksi lamang. The Second World War, where we used nuclear bomb, hindi tayo tumagal ng 4 na taon. Pero ito, 28 years na tayo.
Yes, sir.
At tuwing pumapalo mga mabigat na bagyo, tagtuyot, hindi lamang taong namamatay, kundi yung pagkaya ng tao, yung life support system niya.
Or scorched earth ho nangyayari, di ba, sir? Scorched earth is what
Libong
happens.
namamatay. At
Yes.
taon-taon, hindi lamang dito sa Pilipinas na nung nagkaroon tayo ng Typhoon Haiyan, yan ang pinakamabigat na bagyong dumapo sa balat ng lupa. 8,000 kagad ang namatay.
Opo.
At yung kabuhayan ng mga tao ron, yung mga nyug, nangamatay, naputulan lahat.
Opo.
Kaya sa darating siguro 10 taon, ang problema kung paano gahanap po yung mga tao ron. No?
Opo. Alam niyo, Senator Alvarez, we're very proud nga ho that you're representing, in a way, the Philippines sa COP24, and this is the 24th United Nations Climate Change Conference. So, and I understand that you have been a delegate to each and every one from the very start. Even before when the first COP was being discussed, nandun na po kayo.
Well, kasi nadama ko na ito magiging problema ng sangkatauhan at kailangan talagang tutukan. Lalo na rito sa bayan natin na marami tayong problema.
Opo.
Sanay tayo sa problema, sanay tayo sa hirap. Akala natin itong problemang ito pangkaraniwang problema lamang. Tinatamaan na tayo ng halos 20 bagyo. At malalakas na bagyo. Hanggang tamaan tayo ng Haiyan, pinakamalakas na bagyo sa buong kasaysayan ng
Ito po,
Pilipinas.
sa probinsya niyo po, tinamaan kayo ng isang bagyo. Almost within the span of 1 month or a month and a half, 2 very devastating typhoons yung tumama po sa
Kami
Isabela.
sa Cagayan Valley.
Opo.
Yung Umpong, tapos yung Rosita, at yung aking bayan na Santiago City ay sinapul talaga. Ngunit ang pinakakawawang bayan dyan ay yung Dinapigi sapagkat it's in the coastal zone.
Yes.
Ang karamihan dyan are indigenous community of people who have the least capacity to be able to respond to disasters.
Yes.
Sapagkat nasa tabi silang dagat, mahirap sila.
Opo.
Mahirap. Kaya ayun ang nakakaba dahil tayo napapaligiran ng tubig. At pag nagkakaroon ng bagyo, yung tubig na yan, ang pinakamapanganib sa lahat.
Opo.
Lulunurin lang yung buong
Opo,
bayan.
opo.
Kaya yung Cagayan Valley,
Storm surge po na tinatawag. Storm surge.
yung Cagayan Valley, pinakamalakit, pinakamahabang ilog sa buong Pilipinas, pinakadelikado sa lahat. Pag nagkakaroon ng bagyo, hindi lamang nalulunod yung mga taniman, kundi kabayanan, mga barangay ang nawawala. Parang hinihipan ng hangin yung mga barangay, nilulunod yung mga barangay.
Actually, Senator, yung Pilipinas talaga ay nasa forefront, kumbaga, ng climate change battle. Kasi tayo po, I understand, we are considered or rated as one of the most in danger of climate change. One of the countries, di ba, sir, most at risk
Yes.
of climate change, of the
The
effects of
series
climate
of
change.
typhoons, even before Haiyan, tapos yung sumunod sa Taiwan, made us the most vulnerable.
And also rising
country,
seas, di ba, sir? I mean,
third lang yata tayo sa
yes.
panganib.
Opo. Opo. And other things like rising seas, dahil nga tayo po ay kapuluan po yung ating bansa.
Pagkat yung pampang ng dagat at saka mga ilog natin, mas mahaba pa sa pampang ng dagat ng Amerika, na kontinentihan. Oo. Kaya pag nagkaroon ng tagtuyot, tuyo-tuyo tayo. Pag tinamaan tayo ng bagyo, lulunod tayo at yung mga maliit na isla natin nangangawala. Oo. Kaya tao, halaman, hayop, na bumubuhay sa tao at halamang pagkain ng hayop na bumubuhay din sa Pilipino at lahat ng
Opo.
tribo.
Opo.
Nangangawalang lahat yan. Kaya kung hindi tayo magiging kabahagi ng pagbabawas ng karbon na siyang pinagagalingan ng pag-init ng panahon, maaring isa tayo sa mawawala rito sa balat ng lupa. Maraming mga mabababa at maliliit na
Opo.
isla sa Micronesia na ngayon humahanap pa sila kung saan sila lilipat. Ngunit dito rin, tinan na lang ninyo ang Palawan. Mayroong 100 islang naririyan. Ang taas ng islang yan sa dagat siguro mga 5 feet.
Yes.
Pag umabot yung temperatura natin ng 1.5,
Diyan magiging
tataas na ng 5 feet yung
Opo.
dagat.
Kasi-
Mawawala yung mga islang yan na maraming taong nakatira riyan.
Opo, kasi nakikita po natin ngayon yung ating polar caps, paliit ng paliit dahil sa global warming. And of course, pag natunaw po yung mga yelo dito, talagang naturalmente tataas talaga yung ocean levels. And
Pag natunaw yung Himalayas, this is a plateau of ice, of very old ice. Glacier ang tawag dyan, matigas pa sa bato. Pag natunaw na yan, at dahan-dahang natutunaw ngayon, nandiyan ang Everest, yung pinakamataas
Opo.
na bundok na yelo. Pag natunaw yan, siguradong tataas ang dagat ng 5 talampakan. At yung libu-libu nating mabababang isla, mabababang mga dalampasigan, mawawala. Mawala. Kaya hindi lamang pagkain ng mga nganib sa atin, kundi buhay. Ngunit hindi lamang tayo. Meron tayong mga katabing mga bayan, Kiribati,
of course,
yung-
Palau, diba, all the states ho sa Micronesia, yung mga island states ho dyan.
Kaya yung mga bansang yan, humahanap pa sila ng malilipatan. Humihingi sila ng malilipatan na sa New Zealand, sa Australia, at pinag-uusapan na kung alin mga bahagi ng mga kontinenteng ito ang pupunta nila.
Opo.
Tayo, saan tayo lilipat? Binibiro ko yung mga taga-Maynila ako kung sakalit tumaas ng dagat, pupunta kayo sa amin sa Cagayan Valley sapagkat nandun ang Cordillera at saka Sierra Madre.
O kaya sa amin, o kaya sa amin po sa Baguio.
Cordillera na yan.
Opo, yes sir, yes
Kaya,
sir.
ngunit hindi tayo magsiksikan doon, wala tayong makakain
Opo.
Oo.
Opo.
Masyadong magiging maliit yung mundo natin at magiging mapanganib at gutom.
Oho.
Gutom na
If you look at the Philippines talaga, Senator, it's yung threat sa atin dahil sa climate change, we should be the ones talaga na talagang concerned dito kasi tayo unang tatamaan. Ikakasabi ko.
Mahalaga yung Climate Change Consciousness Week
Yes.
sapagkat pag-uusapan natin kung paano tayo makapagtutulong-tulungan hindi lamang sa dito sa ating bayan, kundi sa buong daigdig. Kasi nung sa Paris, mayroong prinsipyong common but differentiated responsibility. Tayo'y may kanya-kanyang katungkulan. Yung mga malalaking bansa na
Meron din
for
sila
200
sarili.
years, nagbubuga
Yes.
sila ng karbon.
Yes.
Meron silang malaking katungkulan. Mag-iipon sila ng perang 100 billion. Ang sabi, hanggang ngayon, di nila naiipon yung perang yon.
Opo.
Kasama ng climate justice, na sana yung perang yun kukunan natin para itulong doon sa mga nasasalanta, katulad ng nasalanta Santiago Isabela.
Opo. Senator, I have to interrupt you. I'm sorry, but we have to pause for a break. Pagbalik po natin, sasamahan po kayo ni Dr. Met Palaypay, MD, at siya yung chair
masaya
ng
po na
Earth
kasama
Day
sila.
Network Philippines po. Pagbalik po natin. So, guys, stick around because more of climate change consciousness when Global Village returns.
Hello, I'm Nick Gowing. I'm excited to once again be chairing the 9th Annual Sustainable Innovation Forum. Organised by Climate Action, this year's forum will take place alongside COP24 in Katowice in Poland. The dates, the 9th and the 10th of December. The Sustainable Innovation Forum is now in its 9th year. It'll build on the success of the last 8 years to deliver the most engaging, informative and wide-reaching forum yet. COP24 is being hailed by the UNFCCC as Paris 2.0. The forum represents a crucial opportunity to join over 600 senior-level delegates over 2 days. The aim? To build the connections and knowledge required to maximize the opportunities presented by the global transition to a sustainable green economy. This year, the agenda focuses on 4 key drivers for climate change: circular economy, energy transition, sustainable mobility, and climate finance. Day 1 will focus on innovation. There'll be stream sessions exploring game-changing new technologies and ways to accelerate low-carbon growth. Day 2 will deliver high-level policy discussion and debate. There'll be inspirational keynote speeches and ministerial dialogue, focusing more closely on national-level collaboration.
Welcome back to Global Village. Our topic tonight is climate change consciousness, and that video you saw is about one of the highlights of COP24, which is happening in a few weeks in Katowice, Poland. It's one of the main side events, and in this important conference of climate change hosted by the United Nations, there are so many side events precisely like that. So it's really a dynamic place to be. The COPs, the Conference of Parties, United Nations Climate Change Conference.
Pinpointed solutions.
Yes.
Pinpointed solutions.
Senator, we're welcoming now one of your partners in crime in the environment movement is none other than Dr. Met Palaypay, MD, and chairman of the Earth Day Network Philippines and initiator of the Zero Waste Recycling Movement. Dr. Palaypay, welcome to Global Village, sir.
Thank you very much for including me in the solution to the world problem.
Yes, sir. I mean, we need people like you to
They
lead
had,
the charge.
can I say, even at that very, very early stage, walang nagsasalita, they were a team of doctors, engineers, and nurses. Nurses, huh?
And that's very interesting, Dr. Palaypay. You are a public health,
Expert.
practitioner,
Yes.
expert, and you were with UP as a physician
UP as a professor
Yes.
in medicine.
for 35 years. What led you to the climate change advocacy?
First, I discovered our statistics. Every minute, 3 Filipinos die. So I asked my students in research, how many planes would that be? They said it's the biggest plane landing in the Philippines, about 12 airplanes a day. And how many are children below 7? They said 7 airplanes are children. Sabi ko, let's fight for the children who need somebody who can propagate what they want to happen because they have no voice.
Yes, yes.
And we will go to Senate and Congress and ask them to put up a new bill. And the Philippine Medical Association helped me push the bill among the senators and the congressmen. And finally, we have got the zero waste recycling movement
Very nice.
going on. And this actually led us to solve the problem of garbage.
Which is, wow, it is a problem that's dogging our country and our metropolis
And we have
for
the
the longest
best
time.
garbage law in the land.
So why do we have so much garbage, doctor? All
Because-
around.
Because the problem is
Implementation.
the implementation is not being done properly.
Yes.
18 years ago today, it was signed by the president.
18 years ago today.
Yes.
So what a very auspicious...
And only 25% are
yes.
implementing it at the level of the executive level of the local government.
Senator Alvarez, that is what Dr. Palaypay said, pretty disturbing, that only 25%
Only.
are actually implementing it. Where is the gridlock happening,
Well,
Senator?
let's take Manila, for instance.
Yes, sir.
At the time, it had about 4 tons of garbage a day. And then much of this garbage are just thrown by the wayside. Kung minsan, sa tabi lang ng sapa. When that degenerates or degrades, it's carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
Of course.
Which
of
was
course.
the much dreaded threat to the existence of the whole Earth. Dahil kapalan ng carbon dioxide, buhat pa nung
Yes.
gumagamit tayo ng carbon na
Yes.
panggatong
Yes.
or oil na panggatong. Ito yung garbage natin. Pero sila, all the organic waste pinagsama. Yung ibang pwedeng i-recycle, iiba. Because they buried the organic waste, that was controlled carbon. Nung bandang huli na, discovery pa nga natin na pwede palang gamitin panggatong yung carbon na yan.
Yes.
Besides cleaning up the water system, cleaning up the area where carbon would be abundant. And these are in the urban centers. Kung saan napakaraming tao, diyan makapalang carbon na panganib nga sa tao yung carbon.
So,
they initiated all of this know-how.
So, what is your group think, Dr. Palaypay? What is the holdup? What is the roadblock or that's preventing more implementation? Why is it that only 25%?
I have a 12-month
implemented?
study with
Yes.
6 expatriate and local Filipinos.
Yes.
And I discovered only for 30 years we'll be spending $81 billion in the 17 cities of Metro Manila if we continuously haul the garbage the way we used to haul it 100 years ago. Either we bury it and partly convert it into fertile land,
yes.
as our senator was saying.
Yes.
And to be able to use the rest, go back to the factory, so there's no need even for a landfill.
Yes. Yes.
The idea was being destroyed by foreign groups who wanted to import incinerators. And
Okay,
that's the
all right.
one that delays the entire thing. Up
Okay.
to now, it's in the Supreme Court problem
Yes. Yes.
to make that decision, because the idea already was already planted by both Senate and Congress during his leadership, and it is now a law 18 years ago today. But because the foreigners are trying to come into the picture by planting their incinerators and everything, so we were delayed by another 10 years.
And incinerators are not an option for your group.
Because
Because
this
of
is
the,
problem
emissions
of
that
the
you-
medical profession.
Yes.
There's no safe dioxin in this world.
Yes. Yes.
There's no safe 50 gases that will be released when you burn it in a dump site.
Yes, because when you incinerate it, right, Senator?
Yeah.
When you incinerate it, you also release again, as Dr.
Carbon.
saying, all the
Carbon,
the climate damaging chemicals again.
Yes, recent findings shows that when you have carbon, there is the unburned gas. Yung sinusunog natin carbon na para gumawa ng kuryente. Nasabi natin mura dahil carbon na mura. At saka yung sinusunog natin na langis para magkaroon ng kuryente. Merong hindi nasusunog doon. Particulate matter 10 microns, napakanipis. Eh siyempre, kung nandun ka sa kalye at bumuga na yung sasakyan at saka nahigop mo yung galing sa planta ng kuryente, papasok sa ngalangalan mo yun. Papasok dun sa papasok dun sa yung alveoli, di ba? Yung
Alveoli,
ng oxygen.
the smallest
Oh.
sac,
Ang oxygen
air
sac.
sacs.
Pupunta rin yung PM10. Pagkatapos, dahil yung oxygen is a vehicle for burning our food. Sasama na yun doon. Tapos iikot sa katawan, tatamaan yung pancreas, tatamaan yung liver, tatamaan yung... Ang pinakamasakit, yung Isles of Langerhans. Napakaliliit doon. Yun ang gumagawa ng insulin. Sa metabolism,
Yes.
in order to burn our food, we need insulin for certain carbohydrates, saka sugar, no? Pag tinamaan yung Isles of Langerhans itong napakanipis na particulate matter 10, patay na yung Isles, wala ka na insulin.
Yes.
Diabetes na sigurado yan.
Wow.
At hindi nagtatagal yung taong kakadiabetes. Meron tayong ginagawa, lilinis natin yung dugo ng may mga diabetes, pero hindi rin tumatagal yan. Pagkat yung para nung araw, yung diabetes sa atin, parang TB na hindi magamot-gamot, o parang age na hindi magamot-gamot. Ngayon, siguro mga 25% ng mga mahihirap na nagkakasakit dahil kasisingot ng karbon, hindi natin magamot. Nasa mga ospital natin.
Doctor, how serious is the problem today? What do your studies tell you?
Well, it's either
the health
we
issues.
allow the death to happen in this country with premature babies dying all earlier than in cancer, because we release a lot of dioxin in the air. We release a lot of 50 toxic gases when we burn our waste. And that's the reason I'm getting the help of the Inventor Society of the Philippines, So we can convert all this waste into carbon. Instead of cutting trees, we produce green charcoal.
Yes.
We were able to succeed in getting the law done through his effort.
Malaking bagay ho yun, Senator. Ha? I mean, cutting down on the use of charcoal, for instance. No? Kasi sa probinsya, yun naman yung the main source of fuel for cooking is really, charcoal. And so if you address that, that goes a long way in preserving the environment.
They were ahead of the science of the world. They were organizing communities to a clean habit of producing not carbon, but fresh air. Dahil ang isa sa mga advocacies nila nung araw, magtanim ng kahoy. At doon sa bahay ni, sino ba yung isang
Odette
libre?
Alcantara.
Alcantara. Kundi yung paligid mo, kailangan mabulaklak, makahoy. Bakit? Sapagkat yung kahoy kumakain ng karbon. Yung balat ng kahoy, karbon. Yung katawan ng kahoy, ugat ng kahoy, karbon. Kakainin ng kahoy yung karbon at ginagawang oxygen yun para sa photosynthesis nila. Kaya yung carbon sink ang tawag sa gubat.
Yes.
Pag pinatay mo yung gubat, ikaw papatayin dahil wala na yung kakain ng karbon. Now we need to replant. We have to build our forest in order to capture this dangerous, deadly carbon surrounding us because of the machines that we use. So,
Yes.
ay ang gubat natin kukulang tayo. And earlier on, they wanted flowers, gardens, plants in bodies of water. Yung movement na ni Dr. Palakpay, kasali rin ako ron. Because I believe in what they had believed in and we were together. Kaya this was what you call a hands-on group
Yes.
fighting for climate change.
How big is your group, Dr. Palaypay? How
We
big is the
have
organization?
trained Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao in the past 25 years. And then we have put up a magazine for the Philippine Medical Association, 28 pages, that warns our people if we don't do anything about this carbon in the air, we will be the loser in the long run. We will lose all our island.
Yes.
There's no place for us to move but to go to the other planet.
There is no planet B. So, I mean,
That's the only Mother Earth we
this is
have.
the only planet we have. Yes, sir. Dr. Palaypay, Senator Alvarez, we have paused for a break. We'll come back. We'll talk more about climate justice, Earth Day Network Philippines, and Senator, what can we expect in COP24? So, guys, stay tuned because more of Global Village and climate change consciousness when we return.
In order to reduce our personal carbon footprint, we have planted over 1,000 mangroves. Mangroves is known to have store enough carbon.
So what I think that I can do to reduce my footprint is to eat a plant-based diet. That's what I've read is one of the most important things that individual choices affect.
My personal footprint, yes. For example, I do my holidays on bicycle and I don't fly with planes in private circumstances.
The EU has a responsibility to all living things to lead efforts towards ambitious action against climate change. As climate skeptics led by Donald Trump imperiled biodiversity, it's crucial that we Europeans lead the way. Women and young people must play a central part in our climate change strategy. In fact, tackling climate change is an opportunity to foster positive change in broader areas of society. Women play a particularly significant role in crucial sectors in rural areas, and they must be at the forefront of our work. Our climate policies must also go hand in hand with our human rights policies. For example, we must stand up for indigenous people against land grabs and deforestation, particularly in the Amazon, which are the lungs of the world. Climate change challenges the ways our societies have developed, with the growing phenomena of climate refugees fleeing unsustainable lives. And we must therefore radically reshape the way we are living now for the sake of future generations.
Welcome back to Global Village. I'm Buddy Kunana, and tonight's topic is climate change consciousness. And joining me are two climate change advocates and stalwarts, Senator Harrison Alvarez and Dr. Met Palaypay. Senator Alvarez, Dr. Palaypay, welcome to our third and final segment. That video we saw is actually at the plenary of COP24, the coming COP24, and it was Julie Ward. Her name is Julie Ward. She's a parliamentarian from the United Kingdom. And very inspiring to hear politicians like her speak out in favor of this advocacy of climate change, because as we know, the United States, that the major player in the greenhouse emissions, is now led by a president who is very skeptical about climate change. But good news, Senator, a few days ago, the Democrats, who are very much aware of this topic, seized control finally of the U.S. House of Representatives. So that is at least a little bright spot.
That's a bright spot.
Yes.
Merong mga Republicans
Meron
na
po.
tumulong sa kanya. Katulad nung si Bloomberg, na Republican ng New York.
Yes.
City of New York, one of the most sophisticated, sabi, he's wrong on the facts, he's wrong on the science. Kanya kay President Trump. At si Trump kasi, he's wedded to carbon power because they still have a lot of carbon deposits.
Yes.
And he wants to make America industrially strong through carbon and the oil that they get in the cold regions of Alaska. Binababa nila yun dito sa southern part. Naubos na langis dito eh.
In fact, he's actually allowed oil exploration in some nature reserves in the United States. So this is something that's really been a cause for great anguish, and people who are trying to preserve the pristineness of these areas. No, but that being said, congratulations to the U.S. Democrats. Maybe they can put a little break on Mr. Trump's zealousness. Okay. Dr. Palaypay, you are also the chair of Earth Day Network Philippines. Ano po itong grupo? What is this group
We are
about?
trying now to develop a new area in Clark. All the bases that they gave us all the chance to put up regreening and reforestation
Very good.
of that area so that we will have a new city without traffic, without pollution, and a better system of running the roads.
I want to live there.
Yeah, you should live there as a
Pagod na
future
po ako sa Manila.
city. Yes,
Opo.
you're right.
And as you said, you live in the city. How bad is the pollution, sir, in the Philippines? Do you have any figures that you can throw out? Senator, do you have any figures that you can mention? How bad is the pollution in Metro Manila?
Very bad. We used to be the third most polluted city. The first, of course, is Manila, and second, Cebu, domestically sa atin. At pati Baguio. Dahil yung Baguio kasi yung kalsada, ganun.
Yes,
And
yes.
of all the
Nahihirapan yung mga sasakyan.
puro diesel yan.
Karamihan ng mga sasakyan natin dito, siguro dito sa Greater Manila area, kakaabot na ng 300,000. Mga segundo manong mura sa Japan, ayun lang gamitin doon, bawal lang gamitin sa syudad, maraming tao. Binibili naman natin dahil mura. Tapos ginagamit natin sa syudad. E di siyempre dahil luma na, loose combustion kung tawagin yun.
And not well maintained.
Nagbubuga ng maraming
Kaya mas
maraming
polluted
usok.
ang air doon.
Yes, yes.
Kaya dito sa konferensya sa how do you pronounce this?
Katowice.
Katowice. Ang tutukuyin nila, what are the specific problems? Electromobility. Gagamit ka ng mga sasakyan ngayong hindi na gumagamit ng carbon. They're not going to use oil,
Yes.
they're not going to use gasoline or gas, wala ng carbon, puro baterya. Ngayon yung baterya ay mahal pa ng konti, pero bumababa na. At sila dito sa darating na usapin, pag-uusap sa Disyembre, isa sa mga tutukuyin nila, meron silang budget kung ilang bilyon ang gagamitin ng sangkatauhan. Tayo naman, tayo mga mahirap mabasa, dapat yung Green Fund, kung tawagin.
Yes, yes.
2018, dapat sana 100 billion na ang binibigay nila ron. Wala pa silang nabibigay doon. Kulang ang binigay nila. Hindi pa umaabot ng 40 billion. Para yon maitutulong nila sa mga teknolohiyang katulad nung gagamit tayo ng sasakyang baterya pala hindi na magbubuga ng nakamamatay na usok.
Yes, sir.
O kaya, yung solar, China nagpamura ng solar.
Yes, yes.
Mura na.
Dati
Pag
napakamahal
ikinabit
kasi
mo,
niyan.
oo.
Very out of reach for ordinary folks. Napakamahal na cells.
Oo.
Ayun nga,
But
Doctor.
wait till you hear
Yes.
our inventor, Gonzalo Catan Jr., a good friend of him, is now converting all the organic waste into green charcoal. And then we can convert the green charcoal for hydrogen gasoline fuel
Yes.
without pollution.
Opo. Alam niyo, Doctor and Senator, I think really this climate change problem requires a lifestyle change.
Yes,
all
you're
of
right.
us. And
Behavior and
alam niyo po,
lifestyle.
how it's very hard to change our
Values.
lives because how do you change the way we do things, we cook, the way we transport ourselves, our goods? Only through technology can we change. Can we make a fundamental change to make it environment friendly? Kaya nga sabi niyo, green charcoal. Sabi ni
20
Senator.
years ago, I was
Yes.
trying to introduce a school for solar. I put up a school in Legazpi for 10 years and then I put it down. But I think we have two basic inventors who can convert ordinary wind into electricity, and the green charcoal, which was approved by Republic Act 9003, authored by him and Senator Legarda in the Senate, in Congress. And this idea was we can convert all the carbon containing waste, which we call macarbon and not nabubulok. All biodegradable we can convert into green charcoal. And the green charcoal can run all the cars in this country.
Yes. Alam niyo, Dr. Palepa, you've been mentioning so many pieces of legislation. It's so interesting that they seem all to lead back to the distinguished gentleman on my left.
Yeah.
Well,
You've really been, sir, at the heart of all these changes, these fundamental.
When he was running as a president,
institutional
that was
changes.
his stand. That's the reason why I said, if he was our president, by this time
We would have a green Philippines.
green Philippines, you're right.
And I understand, Senator, you also have another project along with the greening of some areas of the Clark Air Base.
Clark Air Base.
You have an Adopt a Mountain project. Ano po
Yes,
to? Adopt a Mountain. Sounds very
I had about
cool.
15 bishops, both Catholic, one Muslim, isang imam, and four Protestant bishop. The mountains that were degraded or denuded, adapt. But we had to find a solution so that the people will not cut the trees because the trees produce suck carbon dioxide from the air.
Yes.
Meron yung bunga nga yung tree, stomata ang pangalan. Kaya ng carbon yun and makes that into oxygen. But we found out that people will still cut the trees because they need the trees. They need the trees for firewood, for houses. And sometimes communities so poor, they depend on the trees. And sometimes there are illegal loggers that can kill you if you prevent them from cutting the trees.
Yes, big business.
Ngayon, marami mga pari pang napatay dyan. Then, when we had the bishops adopting it, and they started to plant fruit trees, mangga, santol, bayabas, hindi na pinuputol ng tao dahil they take care of the fruits.
Of course.
And they go there and sometimes hold prayers there. Of the 14 mountains that were adopted by communities, religious communities, Protestant, siguro mga 10 were successful.
Very good.
They regenerated the trees. These are fruit-bearing trees. And the degraded and the denuded mountains became carbon sinks. Doon na nga sila kumukuha ng prutas. Hindi naman nila pinuputol yung prutas dahil
Of course.
pagkain ng mga bata.
Oh, why kill the goose that's laying the golden egg?
Yes.
Di ba? That's why you preserve the fruit trees. So very successful, sir. 10 out of 14 were actually successful models.
Were regenerated the denuded forest or degraded forest na halos lumalabas na yung bato. Nawawala yung topsoil. Pag nawala yung gubat, wala yung topsoil. Pag ulan, baba na yung topsoil doon sa
And
ilog.
the good news,
Yes, sir.
our Secretary Simatu, who came from Tabak Division, 17 years ago, we started in Tabac Division in Mindanao, and we replanted trees there in the mountains. And now it's around 18 years old. It's a forest in the area. And it was the Tabac Division who did it. Now, how I wish the military can be mobilized that way all over again.
Yes. Well, now that Secretary Roy Simatu is the DNR,
Yeah, he
hopefully
planted a tree that's about 26 years old.
Yes.
It's like a big forest.
Well, I hope he can spearhead more of these reforestation programs. Ika nga, Senator, this is what we need. I'm going to Isabela, you have to pass Nueva Vizcaya,
Yes,
and you can
yes,
see
especially that.
really the mountains have been really
They were bald.
bald.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We have a program which we intend to be able to push with Cagayan Valley. It's not just going to be for Isabela. The whole Cagayan Valley is a huge river basin dahil pinakamalaki yung ilog ng Cagayan. Cagayan River is a huge river, it's a long river. Ang luwang, sometimes 3 miles ang luwang ng katawan ng ilog, pag bumaha, delikado. So you have to have a comprehensive program of taking the water to irrigate the land and to create more vegetation, which will now be the springboard for livelihood and also protecting the communities. Pag umapaw yung ilog na yan,
Of course, and
mga
it's a
barangay
problem
at
again.
bayan,
Opo.
bayan ang nasisira.
Opo. Senator, Doctor, we've come to the end of the show. Unfortunately, so many things to talk about, but with this massive topic, 50 minutes is hardly enough time. Before we go, can we have a short message? Let's start first with Dr. Palaypay.
Well, the only message I have is for all the 42,000 barangay captain na buhayin yung 10 planners nila sa bawat community na multi-sectoral and come out with converting all the waste into compost, number 2 into vermicompost, and number 3, return to the pabrika, lahat ng pampabrika, and there's no really need for a landfill in this country.
Thank you, Dr. Palaypay. Senator Alvarez, last 20 seconds. What is your message? Call to action.
If we don't reduce the temperature of the earth, kasi ang napag-usap-usapan natin sa Paris, bawat bansa magre-reduce ng carbon. At saka, kakapal yung carbon na yan, iinit ang panahon. Ang panahon ngayon 1.5 degrees centigrade. Ang sabi natin, huwag aabot ng 7. Hindi pala. Huwag aabot ng 1.5 degrees centigrade. Sapagkat pag umabot ka ng 1.5 degrees centigrade, masyado nang magiging punong-puno ng karbon, hindi lamang sa malalason tayo, kundi iinit ang panahon at magiging mabangis ang bagyo, masisira ang kabuhayan, masisira ang halaman natin. At pag namatay yung maliit na halaman, yung malaking hayop, tayong matalinong hayop na nabubuhay sa mga bagay na yan, mamamatay na rin. There is a planet that had moisture, yung Venus nung araw. Pagkatapos ng 500 taon, wala na yung moisture. Uminit ang Venus Ngayon, maski bakterya wala sa Venus. Patay lahat na may buhay. It's just a shining ball, beautifully rotating in the galaxy of the sun. Pero walang buhay. Maaring mangyari sa atin yan at dahan-dahang nangyayari kung hindi natin
So we must all
tatanggalin.
work together to save the planet, sir. Dr. Palaypay, Senator Alvarez, thank you so much for coming on the show. More power to you in your projects, Dr.
More power
Palaypay, your
to
greening
you
projects
also,
in Clark. And of course, Senator Alvarez, good luck and Godspeed to Katowice, COP24, United Nations
May we
Climate
have
Change
more global
Conference.
news village in this country.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Doctor. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed our show tonight on climate change consciousness. Join us again next week here on Global Village, and let us take you around the world. Till then, you all have a good evening. Cheers.